What does Leonardo DiCaprio, Nicolas Cage, Kanye West, and hundreds of thousands of amputees in Sierra Leone have in common? The blood diamond. The year is 1999, and the devastating Sierra Leonean civil war is at its raging peak. The RUF rebels enter the capital city of Freetown and indiscriminately rape, maim, and murder women, children, and men of all tribes. In 2002, as the war ended, the international community becomes aware of the atrocities committed by the rebels, with books, movies, and songs all made to highlight the problem of blood diamonds and how they are connected to the rest of the world. This awareness forces the implementation of certain policies to curb the circulation of these so-called blood diamonds, with a view to safeguard the lives of children, women, and men in the world's diamond regions. The post-war Sierra Leonean government, as part of the Truth and Reconciliation recommendations, decided to empower amputees and their children by giving them certain inalienable rights to education, medical, and other social amenities. 20 years on from January 1999, we are returning to Freetown in 2019 with Melqoosh in search of the blood diamond victims. Where are they now? For over a decade, Melqoosh have been making regular mission trips to support the amputees and their children with supplies, medical interventions, and more recently, educational supplies, and subventions for over 500 beneficiaries.
God na make the sababu, make other people and come join hand with una. We know they forget una. So una continue for all God. Now that message no more, and make una picking on and focus on them, the land book. This is your pension right here. Because when they grow up, they would not forget their parents, because they would know that even though you were victims of the war, but you did your best for your children. Okay, so invest your time. We will invest in helping them, but you do your bit as well.
We are at the Melqoosh amputee camp, where we are sponsoring the children of war victims, the war wounded, and the war amputees with their school supplies and clothing fees for the year. These are the war victims at the camp, and we are here to support them and their children so that they can have a better future, and is so incredibly important to bring awareness to a group of people who have been neglected and forgotten and have suffered needlessly over the years. And we are very excited to be able to be here with them today to support them and to support their families.
I tell them, Mama, thank you. They're going to help you, God make them succeed. They're going to give them good way. Now, I didn't make a but we're going to big. I can't be my school fees on picking them. But now, what are they helping now? Small. Tell what thank you. They're about one and they're free. Tell what thank you. They pray for them. They're going to give them long life for everybody. They're helping more and more for picking their school fees.
We thank you. We welcome you for visiting our camps. We know that you seek our interest. Although we are victims of the war, we suffered brutally in this senseless war in Sierra Leone. But we thank you for thinking of we, so that you help us in educating our children, because our children are the future leaders for tomorrow. So we thank you very much. We pray that you came safely, then God will go with you safely. We thank you very much.
The aim is to also provide support to 60 war rape victims in the Grafton area of Freetown.
In 1998, we've been there in the village where they call Kwanadugu village. Now Mrs. Peloka with one, they can't tell we say, Unadena, then don't enter. So from that time, anybody where they meet, then they chop up. Anybody where they meet, then they cut in hand. Sometimes they hit with red, then they come, then they ask. So from there, 9 they fire. As they fire, 9 are for them. So they left them 5. And they rape me. Then this this mark wey dey so dey escape bullet. Na im can hold me na my nose na ya. So dem beat me, dem tie me. So dem 5. This one hold me so, this one hold me so. So the 3 use me na my waist, then the 2 use me na my front.
Over 2 decades since our blood diamond beneficiaries become war amputees, a great number of them have passed away largely because of impoverished conditions and neglect. Many have survived by begging on the streets of Freetown, and their daughters have become prostitutes just to stay alive and be able to provide for their families.
I got this problem during war, January 6, when the rebel captured us. We are raped and they amputated us in the morning. So they said, go to Fodesanko. And he said, Lord, we enter in a bush. He's the one that allowed them to go to the bush, to be killing people, burning houses, raping, and amputating people. So I was a very little girl. Since then, I found myself inside the bush without no help, no mother, no father, no friend. They was about to kill one man. Then this man ran away. And as soon as he entered the bush road, the man found me. I was bleeding 2 ways. I was raped, I was bleeding, then my hand was bleeding.
We are working towards providing subvention for children of war victims.
I had wanted to come to Sierra Leone from the time that I was in graduate school. I did a tour through different Holocaust sites in Europe in graduate school. I also went to Cambodia and did an independent research study on the genocide there. And something just struck me about what happened here in Sierra Leone and the brutality of all of it. And since then, I wanted to come to this country. I wanted to see the people and I wanted to work and give back. I just didn't know what that would look like. I didn't know who I would come with or what I would do or how I would get here. But here we are today.
We have provided uniform allowance for the children of war amputees, children of war rape victims, and children of war wounded, and the children of war widows and widowers. And we also have provided school bags, educational materials such as books, pens, pencils, everything that a child needs for their education. And we have also taken on board 10 university students that we will be sponsoring this academic year.
It not be easy. It not be easy at all with me. I be the write letter from one place to another to ask for help. I be the go office to office, like to get somebody where they help me. But it not be so easy for me. I sit down one day, I know even then I'm yours. My mama go and look for me, say somebody they ask for me. I say now who that? Why can't I meet the mommy? And I say, hey, Meg, you say how you do now, so you not bad. Now I say you don't go college, now say I don't get away, mommy. I say I don't see from 2015 and I got that they help me. Now I say why you Savior don't come. Now I say amen. So you do everything for me. Still I go take me results, I can't show them. Now I say why they give the money now, I go buy form. After I don't buy the form, I can't show me them. I send somebody with you, then go pay you fees. I go show on the form and send Pastor Fino. Now you go do everything for me in a Potloko.
Thank you for having me here today, and very excited to be able to give you some help for this school year. And these bags came 5,000 miles, and when I look at all of you, it was worth bringing them across the ocean to be able to help. And thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pastor Fino, then they are, so can give you gifts. We actually now a very good one for this moment. Because now, for I go buy uniform, not be easy for me now. Then for I go get book and bag and all that thing there. This may picking we will use her for 6 months, 1 year. So we have to tell them plenty thank you for where they don't come.
Inside this bag here, so we get toothpaste, inside toothbrush. This na deodorant for the rub na you underarm, make the underarm not smell. This na like a brush and mirror. This na toothpaste. This na shampoo for your hair. What we dey try for do na for introduce una to womanhood. More na dey take care of una self.
We feel fine. This mommy be dey help we. Be dey help we. We tell her thank you. The first program we be carry it. If they go to the school then, if they give money for let the pikin and buy the uniform. The later now you go na Melqoosh hospital. If they give me medicine then with the mama all. Today now you can't give me books then with for buy uniform for the pikin then. So we tell her thank you.
Like we so na help no man and help we. We no get. So we no get nobody with help. Last time all this support your line way.
We feel fine. They don't come to buy for your bag for go school. So we send them plenty things and God bless them.
In August 2018, the new government of Sierra Leone launched President Julius Maada Bio's Free Quality School Education Initiative. Though designed to help many vulnerable communities, it failed to extend to the children of war amputees, the direct victims of 10-year civil war, which ended 17 years ago.
Not necessarily. I would say that in as much as the New Direction have promoted free and quality education, for example, in 2018, I would say 95% of war amputees, war wounded, war victims had problems having their children go to government school. One, we have insufficient government schools in Sierra Leone. Secondly, the children go to schools closer to their locality. Many of them were built, the Norwegian Friends of Sierra Leone provided resettlement homes in excluded locations where at the time that it was built, there were no access to service. So no government schools, no medical or hospital, not even direct access to the main road. And so because of the regeneration, a lot of people who built around their locations have now built private schools so the children go there.
I think that if you are a human and you have a heart, that what these people have experienced is there's nothing worse. There's just nothing worse than what many of these people have experienced. And wherever you are, living in the Western world or a first world country, no matter what your situation is, you can still afford to give. I think part of it is shifting the mindset, not only from thinking, oh, I have to give a lot to have any impact, but also that you don't have enough yourself. Because I promise, if you can afford to live in a first world country like the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, you can afford to give in a way that is maybe seemingly small, but extremely impactful.
Let us look beyond our immediate family. You don't need to wait until you settle, all your problems. Problems will always, be around, but we need to look beyond that. Whatever little you can do, to help, someone, please go ahead and do it. Serving humanity is the best investment, one can make here and the hereafter.
Sierra Leone's Truth and Reconciliation Commission TRC report recommended that reparation be made to the children of war amputees and war wounded in the form of free education, but this has not been implemented to date.
Some few years ago, the NACSA, which is a National Action for Social Change, provided reparation, and they had told the amputees that it was going to be a one-off reparation, and most of the war victims had assumed there was going to be a lump sum, a significant amount that would be able to give them a life of dignity. Unfortunately, what was received was under $600 at the time per person, and that was meant to be one-off and it was meant to be a lifetime. many of these war victims are indebted. And so, of course, when a lot of people heard that they had received money, those who loaned had other loaners came asking, calling for funds for their monies. And really and truly it has not had any significant impact, whilst they're appreciative that some money had come to them, because what they had said that if they had really gone against what was provided, it would have meant that maybe they would have nothing. And they said we're at a point where even if we're thrown a little, crumbs of bread, we will accept. But of course, it really didn't make much of an impact for them to be able to get the right reparations that they deserve as war victims.
The new government's failure to include or prioritize the needs of these children has opened fresh emotional and psychosocial wounds for the already disadvantaged Blood Diamond victims who mostly survived by begging on the streets.
Many of the amputees, as a result of health poverty, have passed away. There's a high mortality rate among the amputees, and I am really very concerned that by the time Sierra Leoneans or the government of Sierra Leone sits up to really do the needful for the war victims, or if the world or the international donors out there or international organizations come to the spotlight of finding out that truly that these forgotten amputees do need help, they would not be available, they would not be around. I say that they are the endangered human species of the world.
The much publicized news of Sierra Leone's free education prevented the charity from raising funds to execute the educational sponsorship program, as many donors in the community believed that the government of Sierra Leone will deliver the free quality school education initiative it promised. The government of Sierra Leone has also not been able to deliver what it also promised. Many children in senior secondary schools did not get the free education.
Wow, government after the war, January 6th, they make a camp for Win Aberdeen.
Then try. The small way they do, we appreciate, but we still need more from them.
We they pray, we are government, not forget disabled in this country.
I also would like to say that in the area of free or lifetime pensions for those who are elderly and those who are severely war wounded, i.e. those who had both of their limbs cut off, no lifetime reparation or no lifetime pension has been provided. In the area of a percentage of every diamond that is allocated in Sierra Leone or mined in Sierra Leone, a percentage of that should go to the War Trust. There is the former president of Sierra Leone, Dr. I would say His Excellency is passed now, the late Tijan Kaba, had actually stated that they had had a cabinet meeting where they had stated that all war victims should get a package that would come from the War Trust. And the way that that War Trust would be facilitated is that every diamond that is mined in Sierra Leone, and a percentage of that would go towards helping the amputees. That has never happened. We've heard of so many diamonds, big, huge diamonds, big rocks that have been found in Sierra Leone, and not a dime has ever reached the war victims.
I'm the kind of person who I love to give to those who are suffering. So my initial inclination was to give more to the amputees and to the wounded and rape victims. But now I have a better understanding of why we are so focused on education, because of how that investment impacts the entire family and the entire community for many years to come.
Despite the recommendations in report of Sierra Leone Truth and Reconciliation Commission (TRC), Sierra Leone has not upheld its responsibility to provide these war victims their basic rights to life, a life of dignity. 2 reparations equating to approximately $1,600 was individually given by National Association of Social Change and Action, NASCA, to some war amputees in between 2010 and 2012.
A few months ago, I received a call from the executives of the War Amputees and War Wounded Association, and they said to me that they found a document that has been under wraps for many years, over 10 years. And the late President, His Excellency Dr. Tijan Kaba, had made a proviso of providing reparation packages for war victims. And none of this, even though it had been passed, either in Parliament or Cabinet, ministers had been at the meeting, because this is what the letter stipulates, none of the reparations were implemented.
According to the National Association of Amputees and War Wounded, some war amputees and widows did not receive any reparations. Many are aggrieved that the funds given as one lifetime reparation could not sustain them and their families for a year, let alone a lifetime.
The time we involved in the war, we keep in Aberdeen Freetown, we manage life through MSF. So the sooner they repatriate we now different locations there, life not being very soft again. Because when they get supply again, they can be getting who be the Aberdeen. So now, yeah, we fight and hard now for living.
This letter was written on the 7th of October 2005 and was written to Alhaji Lamin Jusu Jaka, who was the national chairman of Amputee and War Wounded Association Sierra Leone at the time. And it goes there, sir, reparation and special fund for war victims. I would like to refer to the invitation to your National Consultative Conference on Reparation and Special Fund for War Victims, held at the National Stadium Hostel on Wednesday, 14th September 2005, and your letter following the consultative conference dated 16th of September 2005 on the above matter. And this is signed F.M. Keru, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and it was copied to Honorable Vice President, Secretary to the President, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, the Minister of Agriculture, Forest and Food Security, the Minister of Health and Sanitation, the Minister of Transport and Communication, the Minister of Labor, Industrial Relations and Social Security, the Minister of Trade and Industry, the Minister for Presidential Affairs, and the Commissioner NACSA. Since this letter was found this year, the War Amputees and War Wounded Association, the executives of this association, they have gone to all of these relevant ministries, and the ministers had meetings with them to inform them that this letter has been unearthed and the reparation needs to be expedited. They've been told that they should try and get a meeting with our Vice President, and unfortunately they are still waiting to get a meeting with Vice President of Sierra Leone. And so we will be taking every measure to see that the long-tarried reparation is fully upheld, because Sierra Leone is in breach of the human rights for people with disability, specifically for war victims. This is ample proof to show that there's been gross negligence by the state. And the state has a responsibility, a duty of care to uphold for all people with disabilities attributed to the war. And we will be taking this to the fullest action, to the fullest court, be it the international human rights, if necessary, to see that the reparations are being provided.
As I think you see me na plastic surgery na ndupa me rubber na dey live with. Rubber na dey live with. As I see the bownet, we say rebel and bownet me. Na the bownet mark. This is the bownet. A rubber na dey live. They see me say okay but not okay. I not for it better full, I not for angry.
Blood diamond victims will continue to stay in poverty or fall into extreme poverty if intervention is not implemented, thereby creating a vicious web of the underclass. If this neglect continues, they will be extinct by the time Sierra Leone sits up to tackle the social injustice.
For me, it would be the area that I prioritize is health, because where there is life, there is hope, and there's an opportunity for people to better themselves. Unfortunately, because of the high mortality rates that we have had among amputees, even if help and great help does come, come for the war victims, we can't help those who have passed away, unfortunately. And I have lost, I would say because in the last 11 years, I've formed close relationships with the war victims. They're not beneficiaries to me, they're family. And I can't bring them back. Many of them have died needlessly because of health poverty, because of access to service, because of social exclusion, you name it, all the social negatives or all the social malaise they've had to endure. And I'm on a race against time, to help these amputees. When I asked what their priority is, believe it or not, just like every human being, they said to me, educate our children. Not our welfare, not our health. Educate our children so that when they are educated and are able to have gainful employment, they will remember us in our old age. And that literally just blew me, because it just tells you that, having a disability or not, being a war victim or not, they're humans first, they're parents first, and they put the needs of their children first.
This is a population of people that the majority of the world doesn't know exists. I would argue that many Americans, Westerners in general, don't know that Sierra Leone is a country in West Africa. And so there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of education to be done. But these people matter. They feel and think just like the rest of you and I. They feel pain, they feel joy, they feel love. And anyone who has a heart for humanity should definitely consider being involved in what we are doing here in this country.
You'll be given to help their children complete their education and change their stories, better their lives. You'll give to elongate the lives of impoverished, disadvantaged, and marginalized war victims who have not received the deserving reparations that they need. You give because you'll be equipping those who have been rejected to, become cornerstones in society. Who knows what would come out of the children that we are educating? They may be the next or the future president of Sierra Leone, the youths. We never know what would come out of them. Give because you care.
And I can vouch with 100% certainty that all of the money that is donated to Melqoosh Mission International goes directly to the people. I'm watching it happen in real time. We're exchanging dollars and donations for Leones, and we are handing out every last one of them and putting those to good use. So 100%. And I don't know that I've ever heard of another organization that does that. it's certainly one thing to make donations to causes like this, but to come out here and see the impact that your donations are having is a totally other thing, especially when you are visiting places that in the West we think only exist on movies and television. And so it's been an honor to be here with you, Faith, and with your mom, and with the whole crew who is helping do this amazing work. So thank you.